World War II was a global conflict that lasted from 1939 to 1945. It involved the vast majority of the world's nations, including all of the great powers. Eventually they formed two opposing military alliances, the Allies and the Axis. In a state of total war, directly involving more than 100 million personnel from more than 30 countries, the major participants threw their entire economic, industrial, and scientific capabilities behind the war effort, blurring the distinction between civilian and military resources. World War II was the deadliest conflict in human history, marked by 50 to 85 million fatalities, most of whom were civilians in the Soviet Union and China. Tens of millions of people died due to genocides, including the Holocaust, premeditated death from starvation, massacres, disease, and famine. Aircraft played a major role in the conflict, including in the strategic bombing of population centers, the development of nuclear weapons, and their only two uses in war. If you find this summary of one of the most important events in human history interesting so far, please like and subscribe for more. The causes of World War II were complex and multifaceted. They stemmed from unresolved grievances from World War I, combined with economic depression, nationalism, and political ideologies. The Treaty of Versailles imposed harsh penalties on Germany, fueling resentment and instability. The global economic depression exacerbated tensions, leading to the rise of extremist movements. Hitler exploited economic hardship and nationalistic sentiment to gain power. In Japan, military leaders driven by expansionist ambitions gained influence. The failure of the League of Nations to address aggression contributed to the outbreak of war. World War II began on September 1, 1939, when Nazi Germany, under Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland. This act of aggression triggered a chain reaction as Great Britain and France, bound by treaties to defend Poland, declared war on Germany 2 days later. The invasion of Poland marked the beginning of a conflict that would engulf Europe and eventually the world. Hitler's forces, employing the Blitzkrieg, a tactic of lightning-fast attacks using tanks and aircraft, quickly overwhelmed the Polish defenses. The Blitzkrieg, designed to achieve swift and decisive victory, proved highly effective in the early stages of the war. The Soviet Union, having signed a non-aggression pact with Germany, also invaded Poland from the east, partitioning the country between the two totalitarian powers. The invasion of Poland plunged Europe into war, shattering any hope of a peaceful resolution to the growing tensions. The world watched in horror as the continent braced itself for another devastating conflict. Following the invasion of Poland, a period known as the Phony War ensued. There was little fighting on the Western Front as France and Great Britain hesitated to attack Germany. Hitler, having secured his eastern border, turned his attention westward. In April 1940, German forces launched a surprise attack on Denmark and Norway. The following month, German forces attacked France through the Ardennes forest. The speed of the German advance led to a swift defeat for the Allies. With Europe under Nazi control, Great Britain stood alone against the Nazi war machine. Turning the tide. The year 1941 marked a turning point in World War II. In June, Hitler launched Operation Barbarossa, invading the Soviet Union. This proved to be a fatal miscalculation. The German army faced fierce resistance and the harsh Russian winter. December 7th, the U.S. entered the war after Pearl Harbor. Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor galvanized American opinion. The U.S. declaration of war transformed the conflict into a global war. These events set the stage for the eventual Allied victory. The global struggle. World War II was a truly global conflict, fought on multiple fronts across Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. While the European theater often receives significant attention, it's crucial to remember that the war raged fiercely in other parts of the world, with profound consequences for the involved nations. In Asia, Japan's imperial ambitions led to the occupation of vast swaths of territory, including Manchuria, Korea, and parts of Southeast Asia. The Japanese military, known for its brutality, committed widespread atrocities against civilian populations, leaving a lasting scar on the region. China, embroiled in a long and bloody conflict with Japan since 1937, endured immense suffering, with millions of civilian casualties. The Burma Campaign, fought in the jungles of Southeast Asia, saw Allied forces, including British, Indian, and American troops, engaged in a grueling campaign against the Japanese. The war in the Pacific was characterized by brutal island-hopping campaigns as Allied forces sought to push back the Japanese advance. From the Coral Sea to Midway, Guadalcanal to Iwo Jima, the Pacific theater witnessed some of the most iconic and fiercely contested battles of the war. The shadow of genocide. Amidst the global carnage of World War II, the Nazi regime, driven by its ideology of racial purity and hatred, perpetrated the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews, the Holocaust. This horrific act of state-sponsored murder, unparalleled in human history, stands as a stark reminder of the depths of human depravity. The Nazis, viewing Jews as an existential threat to Germany, implemented a phased plan to eliminate them from German society. Initially, Jews were subjected to discriminatory laws, stripping them of their rights and livelihoods. As the war progressed, the Nazis established a network of concentration camps, where Jews and other targeted groups, including Roma, LGBTQ individuals and political opponents, were imprisoned under inhumane conditions, subjected to forced labor, torture, and mass murder. The Holocaust was not merely a byproduct of war, but a deliberate act of genocide, orchestrated by the Nazi regime and executed with chilling efficiency. The horrors of the Holocaust serve as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked hatred, intolerance, and the fragility of human civilization. After 6 long years of global conflict, World War II finally came to an end in 1945. The combined might of the Allied powers, their industrial capacity, and the unwavering resolve of their people ultimately proved too much for the Axis powers to overcome. In Europe, the war ended with the unconditional surrender of Germany on May 8, 1945, following the capture of Berlin by Soviet forces and the suicide of Adolf Hitler. The war in the Pacific ended a few months later, on August 15, 1945, after the United States dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Japan's surrender on September 2, 1945, marked the official end of World War II. Victory came at a tremendous cost. Tens of millions of people lay dead, victims of the deadliest conflict in human history. Cities and economies lay in ruins, and the world grappled with the unimaginable horrors of the Holocaust and other atrocities. The war left an indelible mark on the human psyche, forever shaping the course of human history. In the aftermath of World War II, a new world order emerged, one shaped by the victors and driven by the desire to prevent another such global conflict. The United Nations, founded in 1945 with the primary goal of maintaining international peace and security, emerged as a symbol of hope for a better future. The war also led to the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as the world's 2 superpowers. The ideological divide between these 2 nations, one capitalist, the other communist, fueled the Cold War, a period of geopolitical tension and rivalry that would last for decades. Europe, divided by the Iron Curtain, became the primary battleground for this ideological struggle. The war also had a profound impact on the process of decolonization. European powers weakened by the conflict were forced to relinquish their colonial holdings, leading to the birth of many new nations in Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. The war's end ushered in an era of profound change, reshaping the geopolitical landscape and setting the stage for the challenges and opportunities of the post-war world. More than 7 decades after its conclusion, World War II continues to cast a long shadow over the world. Its legacies are multifaceted and enduring, shaping international relations, national identities, and individual lives. The war's impact on technological advancement is undeniable. From the development of radar and jet engines to the atomic bomb, the conflict spurred rapid innovation in science and technology, leaving an indelible mark on the post-war world. The war also led to significant advances in medicine, communications, and computing. Perhaps the most enduring legacy of World War II is the collective memory of its horrors and the lessons learned. The Holocaust, in particular, serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked hatred, intolerance, and the fragility of human civilization. The war's legacy compels us to confront the dark chapters of human history, to learn from the mistakes of the past, and to strive for a more just and peaceful world. World War II stands as a pivotal event in human history, a conflict that fundamentally reshaped the world and left an enduring legacy. From the ashes of war emerged a new world order, one marked by both hope and the lingering threat of conflict. As we remember the sacrifices of those who fought and perished during that tumultuous time, let us carry forward the lessons learned, striving to create a world where peace, understanding, and cooperation prevail, a world where the horrors of war are never repeated, lest we forget.